Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, we take a deeper look into the Hoosier baseball team as they travel to Seattle for big games this weekend.
And the softball team continues a remarkable season hand in hand with great performances by their ace, Tara Trainer. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Annie Howell.
And I am Juan Diego Alvarado.
The Indiana baseball team has competed in 11 games so far. Our Michael Tilka and Matt Cohen are in studio to talk more about the season.
Thanks, Annie. I'm here with IUSTV baseball beat reporter Matt Cohen. Matt, thrilled to have you back on the program.
That's great to be here. Let's talk some IU baseball.
Let's talk some IU baseball. That's right. All right, first question. The baseball team currently has 11 games under their belt. They currently sit at 6-5. What are your early first impressions of the team?
So honestly, I think it's hard to gauge where this team is. They've been very inconsistent thus far. There's been some games where the offense has been great. They scored 9 runs against a really strong UConn team, but they also got shut out by Tennessee earlier in the season. Pitching's been in the same way, very inconsistent, especially in that Tennessee series. But they've also had games where they've, held some of it was against maybe lower competition like a Cincinnati or a Butler, but they've done a much better job keeping offenses in check and winning by a larger margin. But that's been really just inconsistent overall.
Absolutely. And now more onto an individual status. Matt Gorski has played lights out baseball. Earlier this week, he was named the Big Ten Player of the Week after a strong showing in Coastal Carolina. Is he your MVP for this team right now? And if he isn't, who is?
I don't know who else would be. He's easily the best player on this team, at least from an offensive standpoint. Hit 4 home runs over 5 games. He's the team leader in RBIs while missing 3 games. That is insane. There's not enough you can say about him because he's doing everything at such a high level right now.
Absolutely. And next up for this Hoosier squad, though, they're going to travel to the Pacific Northwest for the Safeco Field Tournament. What themes are you looking for this last weekend road tournament that they have?
Well, I talked about inconsistency earlier, which is why my theme here is going to be consistency. Can something really stand as a main theme throughout the whole game, no matter what it is? Would it be can hitting throughout the whole weekend be a strength for the team? Can pitching for the whole weekend be a strength for the team? This is probably the most difficult stretch of non-conference games IU is going to have all year long, and such a key part for them to build a resume because we don't know if the Big Ten is going to be a good conference or not this year based on early results in non-conference play. So if some kind of consistency can emerge here, that's what I'm looking for this weekend.
You mentioned how difficult of a stretch these 3 games are for IU. For those of you who are uninformed, IU's playing Oregon State, Washington, and San Diego. Of these 3 teams, which would be the best for IU's resume?
I mean, Oregon State is probably the best of those 3 teams, so it'd be easy to say that that's the best resume building piece, but I just don't know if that's a game that IU can actually win. So based on that, I'm going to say Washington, because Washington's another really strong team. They went to the College World Series last year, and I think that's a much more winnable game for the Hoosiers.
Fair enough, fair enough. And one final question. You mentioned that Washington game would be the best for them. What do they need to do to beat the Huskies?
I mean, simply put, the offense has got to show up. It's going to be Paulie Milto pitching, so you're going to get at least a quality start out of him. You're going to have the chance to win that game because you're not going to have to put up 9-10 runs to beat Washington. If the offense can show up, if Matt Gorski can do his thing, guys like Drew Ashley and Jeremy Houston at the bottom of the lineup have been great this season. See more out of them. Keep getting on base for the guys at the top of the lineup. That's the strategy for them to beat Washington. They can do that. I don't see how they lose that game with Paulie Milto pitching.
Fantastic as always. 24 Sports, Juan Cohen. Annie, Juan, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Michael and Matt. The team's first game in the tournament will be held at 10 p.m. Eastern against Washington.
Softball came down from their scorching start in a 3-2 weekend in Baton Rouge at the Purple and Gold Challenge. After a record-setting 14-0 start for the Hoosiers, Sean DeSantis' team lost their first game of the season 1-0 to a tough Stephen F. Austin team. The Hoosiers rebounded by beating 10th-ranked LSU, their second top 10 win of the season, and USC upstate before splitting the final 2 games of the weekend with Illinois State. Tara Traynor had another lights-out weekend, moving into second all-time in strikeouts for IU softball with 668. Her domination in the circle earned her an NFCA Top Performance honors for the third straight week. The Hoosiers will hit the road for one more early season showcase in Tampa, Florida, this weekend before returning home to host the Hoosier Classic March 15th through the 17th.
The men's swimming and diving team went into the Big Ten tournament in hopes of bringing home a win, and our very own Michael Dugan is in studio to tell us if they did just that.
Just 1 week after the Indiana women's swimming and diving team took home the Big Ten title, the men's team followed suit and did the exact same thing. The Hoosiers went into Iowa City searching for a third straight conference crown and left with exactly that. On top of that, this is the first time in school history that both historic programs won the Big Ten title in the same season. The Hoosiers ran away with this one, outscoring second-place Michigan by almost 300 points, thanks to a combined 24 medals, 13 of which were gold. Indiana was led by Vinny Lanza, who became the first man in Big Ten history to win Swimmer of the Championships for not one, not two, 3 consecutive seasons. He took home 5 golds and 2 silvers at the meets and posted the fastest time in conference history in the 200 butterfly. James Conner won Diver of the Championships for the second time in his career, marking the 6th such award to go to a Hoosier in the past 8 seasons. Throughout the week, Indiana compiled 15 NCAA A cuts, 101 B cuts, and 69 personal records. Another week in the pool for the record books here in Bloomington. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for the recap, Michael. A big win for both the women's and men's swimming and dive team. Before the NCAA championships, both teams will travel to Cleveland State for the last chance meet on March 14th.
Following 2 big wins, IU men's tennis seeks to keep its momentum going forward as it matches up against ranked opposition. The men's tennis team is getting hot once again after sweeping their weekend series to extend their win streak to 3 matches. The Hoosiers started off the weekend with a tight win over Northwestern, then followed it up with a commanding victory over Washington. Freshman Vikash Singh picked up 2 singles wins, but the highlight of the weekend was sophomore Andrew Redding's clutch match victory against Northwestern.
Yeah, I mean, I know how bad coaches and everyone wanted us to win. Since the coach has been here, we haven't beaten Northwestern. You know, we had a close one last year, a close one the year before. I mean, I know how much it would have meant to everyone, including me, but, you know, I just kind of fell on my teammates for guidance, and I looked at them a lot, and they really pulled me through, and I just knew how much it would mean for everyone, so that's what kind of gave me an extra kick.
Indiana will play number 32 Texas Tech in the IU Tennis Center and then will travel to Urbana-Champaign to face ranked Big Ten opponent Illinois.
The men's basketball team took on Illinois on Thursday night. The Hoosiers grabbed their 3rd straight victory, downing the Illini. IU is now 16-14 on the year with the hopes of a run in March getting higher and higher. Indiana has 1 more game in the regular season against Rutgers on Sunday.
When Hoosier Sports Night continues, we'll take a look at how IU water polo did in its last home game before spring break.
And we'll take a look at the wrestling team heading into Big Ten Championship Week. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night. Indiana Water Polo sought its 5th win of the season against an opponent they had never faced before. Let's dive right into this story with our very own Maxwell Glenn.
It was an endurance battle as those short-handed Hoosiers took on the Wittenberg Tigers, who only had 1 sub for the game.
I really enjoyed how everyone was playing together and they were keeping their intensity up. It was really a game where we managed to play for each other, and it was a good night.
The team was able to build on their experience from the Indiana Classic, and Coach Castle was pleased with the performance.
I think we worked on a few things and just executed. We weren't perfect. With a lot of things we can still take away from that game to get better. But I was happy overall with the effort. I was happy with the communication. and we played as a team.
The lack of depth plus injuries led to a surprise appearance in the field. Mary Askew, after playing 1 quarter in goal, was subbed in as a field player and recorded 2 saves and 1 goal on the night.
It's kind of cool just because I've never really played field, especially in collegiate water polo, so it's just kind of nice to know that, like, if the team needs me, I can keep up with them and help them out in serious situations where we don't have enough people. They tossed me a cap and I was just like, oh yeah, that's happening, okay. Like, they told me before, but I was still like, I don't want to do this right now, like, I'm so scared.
As it was a dominant performance, the team took the opportunity to build their confidence.
I think just like when it comes down to it, we can play really, really well together. It doesn't matter how hard it is or how easy it could be. We're still a team, and we might not always seem like it. We might fight like family, but we're family, so we're always going to pull through for each other.
The Hoosiers will travel to Arizona to square off against Arizona State and UCLA. The action begins on Friday, March 15th. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Maxwell Glenn.
Up next, Indiana will go on the road to face both Arizona and UCLA in Tempe, Arizona.
It's Big Ten time, and the wrestling team is heading into their biggest weekend yet. The team will travel to the University of Minnesota Saturday and Sunday to take part in the Big Ten Championships. The Hoosiers are coming off a shutout win over Chattanooga, giving them plenty of momentum into the competition. 2 wrestlers to look out for are seniors Elijah Oliver and Jake Danishek, both ranked 18th in their respective classes by Flow Wrestling. Every Hoosier is looking for a big performance that will help them qualify for the NCAA Championships at the end of the month.
Big week coming up for Indiana men's soccer as they will fly down to Mexico City to play 2 friendly matches. For the first time ever, the Hoosiers will go south of the border with a schedule filled with activities and game time. On Tuesday, March 12th, IU will take on the under-20 Cruz Azul side, and 2 days later, the Hoosiers will match up against the UNAM University team. The team will also be participating in alumni receptions and go on tours while in Mexico. Stay tuned for updates on our social media accounts to keep up with IU in Mex.
Indiana women's tennis will open Big Ten play this weekend as they will face number 31, Illinois, and number 13, Northwestern. Northwestern and Illinois faced each other last Friday and will now head to Bloomington. After 2 shutouts last weekend, the 9-5 Hoosiers are looking to continue their success on the court. Action begins Friday as Illinois will be Indiana's first Big Ten opponent. Saturday, Northwestern awaits, but they will have to face the newly ranked duo of Madison Appel and Jelly Bozovic in doubles. They were ranked 45th in the newest Intercollegiate Tennis Association doubles ranking. Indiana will face off against Illinois at 12:30 on Friday and Northwestern at 10:30 on Saturday. And that's all we have for you this week. But don't forget to like our page, IUS TV Sports, on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at IUS TV Sports. We won't be on next week, but be sure to follow Juan as he'll be traveling with the IU men's soccer team over spring break. Are you excited, Juan?
I am very excited. I still need to pack, and I still need to prepare a lot of content for IUS TV. It's going to be a fun week for all of us, and hopefully you guys enjoy our content on our social media.
Totally will. Thank you so much. For Juan Diego Alvarado, I'm Annie Howell. Thanks for watching, and happy spring break.